What if the real punishment for a crime wasn't prison, but your own mind? Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky is one of the darkest psychological novels ever written. It tells the story of a young man who believes he can commit murder for a greater purpose. But once he crosses that line, his own guilt slowly destroys him from the inside. This is Crime and Punishment Unlocked. Raskolnikov is young, intelligent, and completely isolated from society. He lives in a tiny apartment in St. Petersburg, surrounded by poverty and hopelessness. Over time, he develops a dangerous philosophy. He begins believing that some extraordinary people are above morality itself. According to him, powerful individuals can commit terrible acts if it leads to something greater, even murder. Raskolnikov becomes obsessed with the idea that history rewards powerful people, even when they cause suffering. Figures like Napoleon became heroes despite the violence they created. So Raskolnikov starts asking himself a horrifying question. If great men can kill to change the world, why can't he? Slowly, philosophy turns into obsession. Soon, his attention turns toward an old pawnbroker. She is greedy, cruel, and takes advantage of desperate people for money. In Raskolnikov's mind, killing her starts to feel almost reasonable. He convinces himself that removing one terrible person could actually help society. That belief pushes him closer and closer to violence. One night, Raskolnikov finally decides to act. Hidden beneath his coat is an axe. As he slowly climbs the apartment stairs, fear and adrenaline completely consume him. Every sound feels louder. Every second feels heavier. Deep down, he knows his life is about to change forever. There is no turning back now. Murder is brutal, messy, and completely chaotic. Nothing happens the way Raskolnikov imagined. Then suddenly, the pawnbroker's innocent sister unexpectedly walks into the apartment. For one terrible moment, he hesitates, but panic takes over. Terrified of being discovered, Raskolnikov kills her too. At that moment, everything spirals out of control. At that moment, his theory collapses. This wasn't philosophy anymore. It was fear, blood, suffering. Deep down, Raskolnikov realizes something terrifying. He is not extraordinary. After the murders, guilt consumes him. Every conversation feels threatening. Every stranger looks suspicious. Even when nobody directly accuses him, he feels trapped inside his own mind. The investigator, Porfiry, understands psychology better than evidence. Instead of attacking Raskolnikov directly, he slowly pressures him through conversation. Their meetings become psychological chess matches. Porfiry believes guilty people eventually want to confess, not because of logic, because guilt becomes unbearable. And slowly, Raskolnikov's confidence begins to disappear. Then comes Sonia. Unlike the others, she doesn't judge Raskolnikov. Despite her own suffering, she keeps her compassion and humanity. She becomes the only person he can emotionally trust. Sonia pushes him toward a painful truth. Confession is not about the law. It's about saving what remains of his soul. Raskolnikov cannot reconcile his theory with reality anymore. Every attempt to justify himself collapses under the weight of his own fear and exhaustion. He realizes that the truth is no longer external. Everyone around him already feels it in some way, but only he is trapped inside it. The pressure builds until silence becomes unbearable. Confession stops being a choice and becomes inevitability. What breaks him is not punishment, but the inability to live divided from his own conscience. In Siberia, Raskolnikov enters a completely different reality. At first, life there is still harsh and empty, stripped of everything familiar. But over time, something begins to shift inside him. For the first time, he is no longer hiding behind theories or pride. He is forced to confront himself directly. And in that silence, redemption slowly becomes possible, not through intelligence or control, but through suffering, humility, and human connection. Crime and punishment remains powerful because its questions never lose relevance. It forces us to confront uncomfortable ideas about morality, guilt, and justification. Can a person ever place themselves above moral law? And if they try, what happens to their mind in the process? The novel suggests the answer is unavoidable. You may escape society, you may escape justice, but you cannot escape yourself. And that is Dostoevsky's darkest truth.